Hey, what up, y'all? It's your boy GMan from a G and a Pimp, 97.9 The Box. Now, today, man, I got the privilege of talking to some guys who I call heroes, man, because they do something that I probably couldn't do. Talking about the U.S. Army. Got a real conversation going on today. I'm talking with a few members of the U.S. Army to talk about job opportunities. We're going to talk about, some questions about, if you may have some questions. But before we get started, I want to introduce my panel because these guys, again, like I said, they're heroes in my eyes. They should be to everybody else. But first of all, let's all get started with the Army Recruiting Command General, Mr. Kevin Bereen in the house.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, G-Man?
I'm doing good. I'm hanging out here. Of course, next to you right there, you have also Command CSM Foley with you.
Hey, G-Man, how are you? Thanks for having us on.
Hey, I hope y'all like my fatigues. We love
it. We love it. We just don't. We kind of unsure about the name on it.
Oh my God! Don't tell me y'all Cowboy fans or anything like that.
No.
Y'all good in it could be any other team except for the Cowboys. We're definitely good with that. And also we have Sergeant First Class Maria Barrientos, and she's joining us right now as well. Hey, hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sergeant Barrientos. I'm here to answer any questions that anyone has.
All right. And then last but not least, we got Sergeant Jacob Klein.
Hey, how y'all doing?
There it is. All right, man. First of all, welcome to the show. I know you guys are busy. I know a lot of things going on, especially in your jobs. And I'm actually excited because, I have family members, my dad and my brother who were in the military. And like I said before the show started, that's something I just could never see myself doing. So, because I think that takes a lot of guts, a lot of pride, which I have that, but I just don't know if I have that drive to, man, go on the front line if I have to. So what y'all doing? Y'all are some heroes, man. I know y'all get that a lot, man. But first of all, let me just ask, what was some of your inspiration? We'll start with CSM Foley first. What are your inspirations of getting into the military?
Well, I will tell you, G-Man, for me, it was kind of a family business, if you will. And so pretty much everybody in my family served, although they served in another service I won't mention. And so I was very young, 17 years old. And I said, I want to do something on my own. I want to kind of get out there. And really, I said, hey, you know what? I want college money, too. Although I didn't go to college later on in my career, but it was one of my goals. To join the Army, and to this day, I don't regret anything I've done. Lots of challenges, lots of great things, but I'm inspired by the family and the family business.
Commanding General of the U.S. Army Recruiting Command, General Kevin Bereen, if you could tell us what was your inspiration for getting.
Hey, G-Man, I have pretty much the same reason why as Command Sergeant Major. It's a family business. Father served, both my brothers served. I got extended family that served. I'll be honest with you, I wanted to be an NBA basketball player, but the Army is the next greatest team. So
do you still play ball?
Yeah, absolutely. So
you got to stay in shape when you're in the Army, right? You can't just be out of shape. You got to make sure you're always
ready. He says he doesn't need to practice either.
Okay. And of course, we also have Sergeant First Class Maria Barrientos. Is somebody in your family? Was it another female you looked up to? What made you want to get into the Army?
Actually, nobody in my family is in the military. I'm the first and only one in the Army, in the military at all. I joined because I wanted a better future for myself. My parents used to work in the fields and stuff like that, and I didn't want that in my life. So that's one of the main reasons I joined.
And Sergeant Jacob Klein, last but not least, what is your inspiration?
My biggest inspiration was I needed to get away from my hometown and to grow as a person. And I think that's probably the biggest benefit I've ever gotten from the Army as well, was that I left, and thankfully I'm back. I'm from here as well. So I left, found myself, grew up, and now luckily I'm back to help recruit the youngest and brightest out of Houston.
Oh, that's what's up. All right, man. Again, we're talking to the Army here. If y'all have any questions, y'all can definitely hit us up, and we'll answer as much as we can. Of course, I want to talk to CSM Foley. What are you finding about the young people that are that you're recruiting today? Is anything changed with the young people? Is it easier? Is it harder? I mean, what's the process?
Well, I will tell you, G-Man, that when we talk about young people, we're talking primarily Generation Z. and what's important to them. And I'm just going to highlight two things that I feel are really important to them. They want to be part of something big. Unlike probably some of our previous generations, they want to make a difference. They want to be part of societal change, and they want opportunities to be able to make a difference in the world and in the service in the Army.
All right, Sergeant Klein, what's been the specific challenges though with recruiting now with the whole COVID-19? Because I know people talk about business owners and people who work, that it's affecting them. Is it also recruiting? Is it affecting the recruiting process?
You know, I think that it has affected the recruiting process, but we've changed the way that we recruit, right? So we had to adapt just like anything else in the world. And so my job is I'm a virtual recruiter. So, you know, I'm on social media, I'm on job boards. I'm finding people in the digital part of the world, you know, because we can't be face to face in the high schools and in colleges. So I think that, yes, it hindered us, but then we found another route to do it, and we've been successful. So I think we're doing good where we're at.
Okay, cool. And my next question is for Sergeant Barrientos. Now, I heard soldiers are soldiers 24/7. Obviously, being a female, I'm sure you like to dress up. And do you feel like you have to be a soldier 24/7? Do you have time to go on date nights? Can you just be, you know, glamorous? What's it like as a female being in the military?
I mean, just like everyone, everybody has a job. And after you get out of that job at 5 o'clock, you can do whatever you want. I have 2 kids. We're always going everywhere on the weekends to museums, water parks and stuff like that. My husband and myself, once a week, we make a date night. And I get all dressed up like you say, and I'm like a totally different person. You wouldn't even recognize me on the street.
Does he ever ask you like, babe, can you dress? You look in your fatigues. I think I'm looking at a soldier. Can you be a little more sexy? Does he ever tell you something like that?
No, he understands. He's not in the military, and he understands my job. So he knows like when it's work, I gotta get dressed in my uniform and outside. Then he understands. I mean, yeah, he's always wanting to see my hair and stuff. But
okay, well, same thing for the fellas. If any one of y'all can jump in, man, the wives, girlfriends, whatever. Do they ever tell y'all, man, can you put on some regular jeans or do you always gotta dress up, or do ladies actually like the fatigues? I've heard that. Actually, ladies, that's kind of like a turn off of them, the fatigues and stuff.
Hey, well, I kind of like the uniform because I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear every day, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it is nice sometimes to get dressed up. But I want to go back to the previous comment you said about females. We just recently instituted females to wear earrings in their uniform, and that's within the last month. And so that's a big hit. And so that, they can show that a little bit of that side of them that, hey, they are female and they can wear earrings within the regulation, obviously. We're not going to
I had no idea. I had no idea about that.
Right. Yep.
Wow. So, Sergeant Barrientos, have you taken advantage of that? Have you wearing earrings? Have you not done it yet?
Yeah, actually, I have, just not today. But the other thing is like nails. We always want to get our nails done and stuff. So now we're able to get our nails done and come to work without, somebody telling us, oh, that's against regulation. So that's a good thing the Army has done for us. Then we love it.
Because I'm always complaining on my wife. She go get her nails done. I'm like, how you spend $100 and something getting your nails done? Golly, so yeah.
Yeah, now it's worth it.
All right, Sergeant Klein, same thing for you. How do you feel about your fatigues and as opposed to dressing up, casually or dressing up?
I mean, honestly, kind of like Sergeant Major said, look, I know people that stress every morning over what they're going to wear to work, right? Or I can't find clothes. I always have clothes. You know what I mean? But on the weekends, I mean, I'm a normal person. I covered in tattoos. I'm a free person. I like shoes. I like to, whatever. I'm always in Houston. So it's, again, like Sergeant Barrientos said, at the end of the day, I'm still a normal person. I just have a different job than some people. You know what I mean? And a lot of people look at us as robots, but we're normal people. We still have normal lives.
Yep, I definitely understand that. All right, General Vereen, same thing for you. What are you thinking about your fatigues? Is it?
So hey, G-Man, I will just tell you, I got a pretty extensive wardrobe. I'm a shoe person. I like dress shoes. I probably got maybe 40 suits. I mean, so So there's life outside, the Army. We're soldiers 24/7, but we also have, we have life outside the Army. And I think that's the thing. We're real people with real lives, just like the rest of America.
All right, and another question for you, General Vereen. We know the Army scientists are involved in fighting the COVID pandemic. What does the Army do that helps the community? I mean, what have you seen with the pandemic and how the Army is helping out?
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, we're at the forefront of R&D, research and development for some of the latest and greatest vaccines, and we're still developing vaccines. So what you see now that's being advertised for administrating and delivering to our American people, we are still trying to be on the cutting edge of developing new vaccines. So we're doing that. We're also, we're also administering the vaccines. I mean, and that's huge. I mean, most of the distribution points where they're administering vaccines, a lot of them are Army doctors, they're Army medical professionals who are actually administering vaccines. So we are really about helping America. And some of the message that we like to put across is we got to be ready so that we can help our United States of America. And that's what we're doing.
Man, that's what's up right there. Talking to the military right now. Of course, my next question is for Sergeant Klein. All right, so what would you say to someone if they're thinking about serving maybe 3 to 4 years, but they're maybe worried about, falling behind when it comes to like a regular civilian job? So do you have any advice for when you go into virtual recruiting and you say, hey, look, they say, I only want to do 3 to 4 years, but what if somebody comes up, a job opportunity? How do you balance that?
G-Man, a lot of people don't even realize, but we have full-time and part-time, right? So what I would say, honestly, if somebody's like, oh, I want to do 3 to 4 years, but I don't want to miss out on like life and stuff going on here, look into the Army Reserves. The Army Reserves is our part-time opportunity. So you can still be a full-time student. You can still have a full-time career, and you do your part-time obligation 1 week in the month, 2 weeks in the summer, and you gain the Army benefits of college and, discounted healthcare, stuff like that. But you still continue to live your everyday life of being a full-time student or having your career, full-time while you do this part-time. So that would be my suggestion. If you're trying to figure it out, then I would definitely say look into the Army Reserves.
It's funny you say it because I remember I used to work at a radio station in Dallas, and one of our production guys was in the reserve. So the station knew that, hey, there's the weekends sometimes he had to go for a couple of days, or how you mentioned the time. So a lot of employers, they understand that also too. Right? I mean, they know serving in the military is a huge honor. Next question for CSM Foley. What are some of the jobs that the Army is looking for? Because I know there's a bunch of stuff out there. When I first heard about the military as a kid, I just always thought you're going to war. I didn't know that there was so many different things to do. My brother was telling me about it. And so what kind of jobs are there if people want to get involved?
Okay, well, obviously there are jobs that, yes, they're combat arms. We talk about things like infantry or driving tanks or shooting artillery, which is really fun, by the way. But it's not all about that. We also have a supporting cast, and we call it enablers to sustain the force. And so there are 150 different jobs and career fields out there, but a lot of them are high tech, STEM related. And so we talk about, the intelligence field of what they offer. We talk about, we have people that rig parachutes. You got to have precision in that, but all the other electronics jobs out there that really provide you training and credentialing, which we have lots of those that make you more marketable on the outside. But we do focus on about the top 11 job fields because they're really, really important to how we maintain a ready force.
And especially with the growing industry and like you said, tech and social media, and it's not just going to war, or I think it is Pearl Harbor when in the movie Pearl Harbor when they kept going to the intelligence guy and he kept saying, okay, I think they're coming. So you have people who with the brains are telling the actual people, hey, look, this is what's going on. So you need people to come in there and know about computers and know about like you said, intelligence.
Absolutely. Imagine having certifications in credentialing in all these fields, and then you exit the Army, and then that's what these employers are looking for. They're looking for somebody who already has this certification experience to be able to sign on and work immediately and make a difference in their corporations.
All right, Sergeant Barrientos, the Army is the biggest military branch. You're a parent. How do parents know that their kid becoming just another person in a very large formation? Like, how would you explain that? Say, yeah, you're going to go to the military, but you're just another person in a big, large formation. How do you explain that?
So I do talk to a lot of parents because we deal with high school students and stuff like that. So we've had parents come in the office and asking because they're scared. And like you said before, all they see is fighting in the news and stuff, but they don't know we have other jobs. So when they come in here, I explain it to them. And that's when they realize, oh, my son, my daughter, they'll join the Army and come out with like prepared for life, and with all the certifications and training that they get, they'll get a job really fast. So that's how I explain it to them. And I tell them a little bit about myself and how I joined and how successful I am right now.
Yeah, because I remember, when I was a kid or other parents, they would tell their kids, if you don't straighten up, we'll send you to the Army, or, so, you hear that a lot, but although that could be true, but there's just way much more than that when they come into the Army. They learn, life skills. They learn how to be a man or a woman,
Yes, they mature faster.
Hey, look, I have a son that serves in the Army now, and he joined in 2018. And so he loves it. What we do pride ourselves in is really, we may be a large organization. I mean, we're huge, but it's really about teams. It's about teams at the lowest level, taking care of one another in small units, and making sure that, that people understand, those soldiers understand that they're valued to the team. And really that's really what carries the day for a lot of these young men and women, being a part of a team.
Our boss she kind of mentioned that to us sometimes too in our meetings. She says, there's a whole bunch of us, but we're one band with one sound. It's kind of like you guys. There's so many of y'all, but it's one band, one sound, and that's pretty neat right there. And of course, Sergeant Barrientos, with Hispanics, families, very important to what the families do and all that, family life. How does the Army look at that?
The Army is very family oriented. So the issues with the family, not with the Army, but with the family, Hispanic families. Me coming from a Hispanic family, I know how hard it is for the parents to let go of their kids. I had to join without my parent knowing, my dad especially. So when I told him I need a ride to the airport, he was like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to go to the Army." And he was pretty mad. I'm not going to lie. He was very mad at me. But then I came back with uniforms, and it was just crazy because sometimes us kids, we just have to do what, think about our future, and our parents are not going to be there all the time. I came back and they were waiting there at the airport with mariachis and balloons. Wow. And all. It was embarrassing, but it felt good because now my family was supporting me.
Yeah, like our station, obviously, we're an urban station. We have a huge minority following. So General Vereen, same thing for you. How does the Army, what's your experience with the Army and how they treat people of color, Hispanics, Asians, just different ethnicities?
Yeah, so, one thing about we think is very important is that we are a diverse Army. We represent all aspects of culture and ethnicity. I mean, across our demographics, and that to me that's what makes our Army so really good. I mean, it does. We are globally engaged. So when we go out and we perform missions, we don't know what countries we're going to, but I guarantee you, we probably have soldiers who are from those specific countries or have backgrounds from those different countries. And to me, that makes it even more powerful. There's nothing more relatable than somebody that looks like you, somebody that speaks like you, and by the way, somebody that kind of understands, where you're coming from. I think the other part of this is that people like to see, and even in our formations, even in the Army, people like to see people that look like them leading at the highest levels, leading at levels of supervision and that are in charge. And so that's nothing that is something that's extremely important to us, is that we represent not only different ethnic groups, but we also have leaders that are from those same different ethnic groups leading at every echelon across our Army, and that's powerful.
And Sergeant Klein, I know you talked earlier we talked about people who want to maybe come in for 3 or 4 years and worried about civilian life. What about if somebody comes in and says, how long can I be in here for? Like, what is the average time, or do I have to be here a certain time? Do I have to sign up for different, stint? I mean, what's the average time, or what do you tell somebody who says, I don't know how long I want to be in the Army?
So, I honestly, that was me. Like, I needed 4 years to figure out my life, and I was gonna get out of the Army, go home, whatever. 11 years later, I'm still loving what I'm doing, right? So we have contracts that at times are 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, right? So what I say is, take the ASVAB, find the job that you like, that you qualify for, and then let's talk about the time. So let's find something you want to do that will make your time in the Army good for you, get you credentialed, and then when you get out, you have those credentials, whether it's 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, or if you determine, hey, I like the Army life, I'm going to do 20 years and retire. Personally, I'll be 38 years old when I retire. And it all started with, I was doing a 4-year contract, so at 38 years old, I'll have my first retirement and I'll move on to whatever is next for me. So that's my suggestion.
And when you do retire, I mean, talk about, what's after that. I mean, is there pensions? I mean, how does that work? It's somebody like me who doesn't know anything about it. Say you retire. I know if I retired at my work, I was 65 years old or 67. I know I'm going to get my 401k, my pension and all that. What about the Army? Is there anything that people can say, man, if I can retire early, I'm getting some extra benefits out of the Army?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have what's called like the Thrift savings program, right? Which is just kind of like a 401k, only on the military side, right? Also, when you retire, you get healthcare, the TRICARE healthcare, the rest of your life.
Wow.
Right? Not only do you get healthcare, but you also get half of your last rank that you held. You get half of that pay every month for the rest of your life. So you're receiving a paycheck, you're getting healthcare, and if you set yourself up to be successful, just like you do in the civilian sector of the world, you're gonna be successful. But it's all about what you put into it. Your degree, right? I'm currently a full-time college student. I'm getting my degree, and the Army's paying for that as well. I've also signed over education benefits that I earned to my children, so they already have 2 years of college each paid for.
Wow. And I always thought that, because I always hear, you see the commercials back when we were younger, join the Army or join the military and we'll pay for your college. I just always thought that was kind of like a gimmick, kind of pull you in, but it's actually, that's what they do. I mean,
100%.
Yeah. I mean, so is it okay? How does that work? Can I go to any college? Is there like a certain money that you get for how many years you're in the service? How does that work?
Yeah. So, all right. So as soon as you finish job training, right? Basic training, job training, your tuition assistance starts, and you get $4,500 a year to go to school, right? So as long as you're staying within that tuition assistance amount, then your school is paid for. Then you also have the GI Bill, which is it's 4 years, so it's hard to put an exact amount of money on it. It's roughly $70,000, right? But it's a 4-year degree. But a lot of people don't even know, if you join the Army from the state of Texas, you get an additional 150 college credit hours to any state-funded school, and that's called the Texas Hazelwood Act, right? So not only do you have a 4-year degree paid for, but then you have an additional 150 college credit hours that you can still sign that over as well to your children. So how are you missing out on all these benefits? You know what I mean? And not only you, but think about down the road, if you're going to have children, you're setting them up to not have student loans that they go to school for 4 years to get a 20-year job to pay back these loans. You know what I mean? There's so many people in student loan debt. It's crazy.
Yeah. And, and I'm thinking about that here. Like my son's about to graduate. He says, I want to go to Blinn or San Jack. And I'm thinking it's not even $4,500 a semester or a year. That can cover all that right there. I mean, it's not like, you're missing out on anything, because you're still covering your tuition and you're in the military.
Yeah. And it's not just traditional universities either that's paid for. We pay for technical schools as well.
Oh, wow.
College is not for you. You don't want to go 4 years or whatever it is. You can go to a trade school, a technical college.
Like AC and heating, you can do plumbing, anything.
And that's where you're going to get certifications and all these other things that will place you very fast into a job. So
yeah, and so Sergeant Barrientos, what about for the ladies out there? If they say, "Well, I mean, I don't want to be in a technical school." I mean, is it the same thing as going as being a nurse in the military? Is there things like that they can do to get in and be in the medical side?
Yes. So we do have many medical programs. One of them being it's a year-long training But as soon as you graduate from that job training in the Army, you will be a nurse. And that's like, instead of going 2 years to a college to do that, you do 1 year and you get the same certification, and everything's paid for. So you don't have any loans. You'll be a nurse right out of the getting out of training, and you can go on and join the reserves and work in a clinic or a hospital around here, Houston.
Wow. You know, one of my buddies, Pete Mejia, he passed away last month of COVID, but he retired from the military in the Army of 15 years. And I remember the day when we were playing softball before he joined, he told me, he says, hey, I'm going to join the Army. And I said, man, are you crazy? We're having fun. We're partying, man. He's like, man, I got to do something with my life. And I'm thinking, you're going to go and get yourself hurt and go to the Army? I said, because that's what I thought it was about. And he's like, no, man, I want to go. I want to be a police officer. And I said, man, all the stuff that we've done, you want to be a cop too? So, you know, and I didn't understand it. And then at his funeral, when they had all his accolades from the Army and his just everything, he retired after 15 years, served in Iraq, served in Afghanistan. And it just showed, I was just so proud of everything he learned, but he never talked about it. You know, he never said, oh, I'm a badass. You know, look at me. He just always kept it. But I knew he was bad, but he just never showed it. Is that kind of what the Army teaches you too? Like, hey, you know what? We can show you a lot of things, but you don't have to go out there and prove it to everybody, you know? Because that was one thing that I didn't know about him. Like, dude, I didn't know you can handle guns like that. I didn't know you can handle, you know, all this artillery, because I didn't see you that way, you know? And when I saw the generals and all these people that came to his funeral and talked about him and what they did, I was just amazed. And anybody can answer that.
Yeah. You know, I'll chime in. I think it's a discipline thing. I think that we're taught discipline, and we're taught to not only respect ourselves, but respect the things that we've learned, right? And we don't need to go out and tell everybody like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Mm-hmm. You know, it's part of our world. So it's almost a normal thing to us that we know how to do this stuff, you know? And when people join our family, the Army, right, they're going to learn this stuff as well. But yeah, we don't need to walk down the street and tell everybody, oh, I can do this and I can do that. That's not what we're about. You know what I mean? So to boast about that side of it, like that's not really us. And if that's what people are doing, then yeah, we need to talk to them.
Yeah, no, that was amazing, because I was like, man, I never knew. And his best friend was telling me, man, he never talked about it, because that was his personal life. That was his military career, and he's not a boaster, but there was a lot of things that they taught him that he never knew or didn't learn. His dad was in there as well. So he's one of my heroes as well. So yeah, man, it's just been a learning experience for me as well. Like I said, my brother was in the military, my dad, and people out there that are watching right now, man, and if you have questions, man, we're going to put up a link as well on our Facebook, so you can go ahead and click that link and get all the information. Do y'all have like your own social medias as well? Can y'all have an own social media account, or does the Army have to be involved in that as well, or as far as a private life with you guys?
Yeah, so I'm a virtual recruiter, right? So we have the Go Army Houston, right? Follow us at Go Army Houston, Facebook, Instagram, all of that, right? We have recruiters. I'm on there all the time. That's how we answer questions. But not only do we have that, we have our recruiting pages, but yeah, we still have our personal lives. We still have our personal social media accounts and stuff like that. The biggest thing, I mean, is a lot of people forget, right? Again, we're not robots. We're normal people. We have normal lives, but this is the job that we chose, right? Every one of us that wear this uniform chose to live this life. None of us were made to do it. So it's what we want to do.
Yeah, so make sure you follow them on IG, Twitter, everything. Go Army Houston, and that's just the Houston branch. But obviously, the Army being as big as it is, I mean, and if I ever wanted to join, the first thing I thought of is traveling the world. Did you guys get to experience that? Where have y'all gone? Is there somewhere that y'all said, man, I can't believe I went to that country. I went to that place. I mean, I've only been to Mexico, and that's about it. I mean, I ain't going nowhere else.
Hey, GMan, I've been to Mexico too. Early in my life, when I was like 17, 18 years old. Yeah. It was all in fun. But I will tell you, I spent 15 years overseas.
Wow.
Working overseas total in my career. So almost half of it. And so besides being stationed like Germany and Korea for about 10 years total, then in Hawaii, that's still considered overseas. But I've been in some places traveling like Singapore. I've been to Australia, then to we just went to Berlin a couple years ago, right before COVID. Italy, Spain, you name it, lots of countries, Japan, and traveled around and really kind of taken in the sights. And I've flown my family out there too. And so
I was going to say, so if you're, anybody can answer this, if you're away from your family, is there homesickness? I mean, how does the military, do they help with that? Is your mind always off of it so you don't think too much about that? How about the homesickness, man? Because I'm Houston to the death, and I'm leaving here. I went to Dallas for you. I had to fly home every weekend because I was so homesick, you know, and I was just 3 hours down the road. How about that for people who are scared to leave their lives and their families?
Yeah, so when you deploy in operational environment, you get this thing, you get leave away from the deployment environment, and it's usually about 2 weeks. If you're going for about a year, 2 weeks of free leave, so you'll get to fly back to the United States or any other area you can meet your family in some other country you'd like to, but it's free. And so the military pays for it. But there's opportunities. I mean, we try not to be away from our families if we can help it. And some of us have to make decisions because of, maybe spouses are employed and we get stationed somewhere else. But the Army is all about families. So we do everything we can to keep families connected. I think that's important.
Did anybody meet their spouse in the military, or was that before? You did? Okay.
So I met my spouse. She actually had retired in Korea, and I was there. I was there 4 years, and I met her, and we're here today. And so, man, and she had just retired from the Army. She served 22 years, retired 11 years ago. Well, she's been waiting on me for 11 years. I'm not ready yet, but I did meet her. She wasn't in active duty uniform, but she did serve, and we were overseas.
Anybody else? Sergeant Barrientos? Sergeant Klein?
I actually I got married again, but my ex-husband, my kid's father, he is still in the Army. He's in North Carolina right now. My daughter was actually born in Germany because I was stationed in Germany. So
that wasn't a scary time. I'm not in the States. My daughter's at least born in another country. I mean,
it was, but my husband at that time, he was there, and as well as my supervisor at that time and all my chain of command, they made sure they came to the hospital to see me and my baby to make sure that we were good. So they're always checking up on you, so you're never really alone.
So and this goes for both the female and the males. They don't say, hey, don't get pregnant from this time on. You got, is it okay to if you can whatever you want, get married, you get pregnant, it doesn't matter. Do you have to serve a certain time before you have to do family duties, or
no, actually,
you get in the Army and then a month later, oh shoot, I'm pregnant. I mean, do they?
I mean, you don't get in trouble for that. It's just living a regular life. We even have uniforms for when we're pregnant. We have the uniforms for pregnant females, and at a certain time, you don't work certain hours. They really do take good care of you. So it's just like a regular life. You have your kids whenever you want, and there's no punishment for that.
Hey, so GMan, we also have maternity leave and paternity leave. So both the man and the male and the female can actually take leave for a period of time to be able to take care of, their newborn, before they like to hand them off to maybe a daycare center or something like that. So there's a period of time where they can spend quality time and not come to work and be able to nurture their newborn.
All right, Sergeant Klein, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, natural. There's a lot of dual military relationships. Never once have I ever heard of anybody being told like, "Oh, don't have a baby at this time." You're a grown person. We have an occupation, and that's what it is, right? So I think that it's set up to be a family-oriented business.
Now I'm going to ask this question because let's just say I'm married and my wife says, you know what? I think I'm going to join the Army. Me personally, would be like, man, there's so many dudes in the Army. You going to leave me for somebody else? I mean, how have you had that situation where somebody's scared to join because their spouse doesn't want them to join because they're scared they're going to forget about them and leave to another country? And I mean, that would be scary to me, I would think.
Yeah, so I've actually been here almost 4 years. That's one of the major reasons that people don't want to join the Army is because their girlfriends or boyfriends tell them, "Oh, you shouldn't do it," and it's for whatever reason, yeah, it stops them. But they don't realize what is involved when they do join and what can benefit them. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a lot of girlfriend and boyfriends that aren't on board with it.
Yeah, I would think that, but man, I'm glad I got to talk to you guys, man. Again, y'all some heroes in my eyes. Every time I see the military, somebody either at the Texans game, Astros game, or anywhere I'm out, well, before COVID, I would shake their hand and say, "Hey, thank you for serving," or now it's just a little fist bump, or I just look at them and say, "Hey, man, thank you for your service," because that's how I was raised. That my parents. That's a job that you guys do that not everybody wants to do. Nobody wants to go, and God forbid we got to go to war, and we've been in war, that somebody want to go do that because that may be the last time you see your parents, or your parents might see their kids, but it's just a sacrifice, right?
Absolutely.
It's not something you think about when you join. It comes with the job, and we accept that. We're trained for it. But it's not something that when you join, you're like, "Oh, this is what's going to happen." It's the war is dwindling down. We're barely there anymore. It's something that's almost in the past. There are still soldiers, but that's not a focal point that you should ever think about. You should think about your career, the benefits you're going to get, the things you're going to learn, the family that you're going to get by joining the Army, and that's what you should focus on.
And I heard a lot right after 9/11, a lot of men and women wanted to join because they just felt it was their duty to protect this country because of what happened on 9/11. So that's been a while now. Is there anything else that people are reason why they're joining? Is it mainly because, family? Is it because of traveling, or is it still because they want to fight for their country and they feel like that's their duty?
Me being here in the recruiting stations, I have found out that here in the Houston area, they want to join for college, which is fine. But sometimes they're like, "Well, I don't want to join because I'm going to lose on these credits. I'm not going to start school on time." But you also get credits for your training. So me, without having any college at all, I started with almost 24 credit hours without ever doing college. So if they're thinking that they're going to get behind in school, it's actually going to, they're going to be ahead of other people when they start school, especially being a high school senior.
Okay, man.
If I could chime in. And so you asked us what inspired us and why we kind of joined. Well, the vast majority of soldiers, they join for one reason, but they stay for another, right? So we obviously have the benefits. You get training, you get education, serve your country, and all these great things that are opportunities and, quite truthfully, incentives to join. And then when somebody makes the decision after 3 or 4 years of service, I want to stay and re-enlist, then they stay primarily for another reason. Most of that is because of the camaraderie within the unit. They have good leadership. They trust one another, the values that they have. Then this other thing is, hey, I have a family. I want to support my family. This is a great way of life. And then, them moving up and kind of achieving responsibility, roles and responsibilities, get promoted. And so all of that is other reasons why people stay in the Army. And then, for me, it's been a very, very long time. And you love what you do. And so loving what you do is a big part of the reason why people stay.
Yeah, and then plus, the brotherhood and the sisterhood, it can't be matched in the military, especially the Army. I mean, you got brothers and sisters for life, right? I mean, that's how y'all look at it.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct, GMan.
Wow. All right, man. Well, I appreciate y'all for coming on, man. I've learned a lot. I'm not scared now if my son comes to me here in the next month or two and says, "Dad, I think I want to join the Army." Now I've talked to you guys as a parent of a high school kid, a senior. I think I've learned a lot just from talking to you guys, and I know I've learned a lot, and not being scared to say, you know what, let your son grow up, let him be a man, or let your daughter grow up and let her be a woman, and let her explore life, and let her see what there's other options out there in the world. Because when she comes back, not only is he or she going to be a better person, because that's what the Army teaches, but they're going to have the skills to either go to college or technical school or just succeed in life.
Absolutely.
Hey, G-Man, we thank you for all your support, not just the Army, but the military as a whole. And as we all work together as teammates, and we really appreciate that. And I'm just trying to be like you. And when I say that, you're probably laughing. You're like, "Well, what are you talking about?"
I want to be like, yo.
I host a podcast that I started, and
What is it? Go ahead and mention your podcast. What do you have?
it's called Behind the Greens, and basically, I'm just talking to people. It could be in the Army, or some of our influencers out there about benefits and opportunities, and to educate and inform the American population, young people, on service in the Army, things that they may not know. And we know a large amount of our Americans don't know. About 50% don't know anything about the Army. So we're just trying to educate them so they can make informed decisions about their life and opportunities for service. So
Behind the Greens.
you're a great host, and
Absolutely.
I learned a lot off of you as well.
If you ever need a guest to come on and you want to talk radio, or they want to see what it's like, definitely hit me up, and I'm definitely down to definitely join one of y'all podcasts, man. Again, like I said, I'm not just saying it because you guys are on here, man, but you guys are really true heroes. I never understood why people in the past would frown on the military I just never understood that. I think now people are understanding that you guys, it's more to it than just it's just way more to it than just serving. I mean, it's a pride thing. You're proud to be an American, and you can't get no better satisfaction out of that. I just salute y'all, man. It's just a great opportunity to talk to you guys.
Hey, G-Man, thank you. And really, thank you for hosting us, and thank you for listening to us. And really, it's about informing, and I hope we've got a great advocate in you as we continue to do our bidding to our nation. And as I tell everybody, the Army is open for business. And, we want people to find their fit in the United States Army, because we do have one for our young women. Thank you.
General Vereen, Citizen Foley, Sergeant Barrientos, and of course, Staff Sergeant Jacob Klein. I appreciate y'all. Thank you again. Anybody have any questions, you can click the link below with the U.S. Army, virtual recruiting. Are y'all doing back in person recruiting just yet, or is it still virtual? How's that working?
Yeah, we are combination. We are actually doing in-person recruiting, so they can reach out to the local recruiting station, and if they want to go there, they can. The last plug for Army National Hiring Days. We are doing Army National Hiring Days starting on the 14th of May, and it'll go through the 14th of 14th of June, and we'll actually end, but it's about 30 days. We look forward to it. We're online. We're all out there. We're on, we're on social media. So if folks would like to know more about the Army, please dial in and take a look at what we have to offer. Again, the Army's open for business, and we look forward to young men and women serving in the great United States Army. Thank you, G-Man.
And there it is right there, live with the G-Man, G and a Pimp, 97.9 The Box against the U.S. Army. The link is in the comment section. You can definitely click that. And fellas and ladies, I appreciate y'all for joining me today. And y'all have a great rest of the week. And go Texans, go Astros, go Rockets. I don't know what team y'all like, but it's all
Go watch the football team. Go on.
Oh, no. At least it's not the Dallas Cowboys, okay? I'm doing anybody but the Cowboys. Yes, sir, the Stros. All right, y'all. Y'all be safe. Y'all take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.